Friends, earning money is easy, but understanding it is the biggest challenge because money is not just a game of numbers. It's a mind game, and this very fact forces us to forget it repeatedly. Think about it. Two people earn the same salary. One is always troubled and drowning in debt, and the other quietly saves money and becomes a millionaire. Why does this happen? Because the art of handling money is not determined by Excel sheets. It's determined by our way of thinking. Wait a minute. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do I want money? Do I want financial freedom? Or am I just living a life to show off to others? Am I spending money? Or am I buying myself? This is where the book begins. Like a mirror that shows us our own illusions, fears, and habits regarding money. Here, it's not about numbers. It's about human behavior. Because money is different for everyone. For some, it's security. For others, it's power. For some, it's freedom. And for others, it's just an illusion. We have always thought that financial success comes from strategy, planning, and logic. But the reality is that money rarely runs on logic. Money runs on emotions, fear, ego, and social pressure. When the market falls, people panic. When a friend becomes rich, we start burning in comparison. When the burden of EMI increases, we learn to ignore the future. All these things are not numbers. They are emotions. And until we understand these emotions, money can never become our friend. So friends, come with me on this journey, a psychological journey where we will discover new definitions of wealth, success, greed, fear, patience, and happiness. And perhaps when this summary ends, it won't be your money that has changed, but you yourself. Because understanding money is not just a way to increase your bank balance. It is the greatest art of steering life in the right direction. Part 1. The nature of money thinking. Our thinking about money is shaped by our memories, our upbringing, and our life experiences. And this is why every person's perspective on money is completely different. If someone has seen poverty in childhood, then for them, saving every penny is like survival. Meanwhile, someone who has seen abundance all their life might be confident in taking risks too. So, when someone invests their entire salary in mutual funds, or another person splurges money on buying a luxury car, it's not necessary that they are crazy. They're just thinking from their own perspective, and this is where the biggest misunderstanding begins. We judge others' financial choices without knowing the story of their lives. Imagine if two people read the same financial advice, like invest early or avoid debt, yet their actions are different. Why? Because decision-making is not based solely on logic. It's based on their past experiences and emotional memories. Someone who has been burned in the stock market will always be afraid. Someone who has won a lottery will see luck in everything. Now let's talk about luck and risk. Two words that look different but are two sides of the same coin. When a person becomes a millionaire, we say they were very smart. But have we ever thought about how much luck was involved? Being in the right place at the right time, getting the right connections, finding the right mentor, was all this entirely their planning? No, that was luck. And on the other hand, if a smart person loses everything in a market crash, were they foolish? No, that was risk. But our thinking becomes biased here. We give full credit for success and turn failure into a complete mistake. While in life, both walk together. Now, something very few people understand: never enough. This is the poison that hollows out even the richest person from within. Think about it. When you get 1 lakh, you are happy. Then you want 5 lakhs, then 10 lakhs, then crores, and one day you realize you are running in a race that has no end. We get trapped in the web of comparison. We see someone's new car on Instagram, and our 2-year-old scooter starts seeming worthless. A friend buys a new house, and we start feeling suffocated in our rented flat. And slowly, we start chasing validation, moving away from fulfillment. But is this life? Does earning money mean always wanting more and never having peace? Don't we stay happy even after achieving our goals? Because we have never learned when to stop? Actually, earning money is a skill. But understanding money, feeling it, and knowing when to stop is an art. Now ask yourself a question. Do you want to be the person who is restless despite having everything, or the person who is calm and content even with a little. The depth of this part is this. It teaches us that we have to understand others' perspectives. We have to drop judgment and observe our own behavior deeply. Only then can we build a healthy relationship with money. And the biggest thing is that everyone is irrational about money at some point or another. Some spend compulsively. Some save more than necessary. Some take excessive risks, and some never invest at all due to the fear of an old loss. This doesn't mean they are wrong. They are just human. Humans who make decisions based on their past emotions. So, next time you see someone's financial journey, don't call them crazy. Perhaps their journey has been completely different from yours. And for yourself, always remember a question: what is enough for me? Because if you find the answer to this, you will be several steps ahead of the rest of the world. Part 2. Power of time and compounding. Earning money is one thing, but growing it is a different science altogether, and that science is compounding. But the real problem is that the magic of compounding is not that flashy. It's not that glamorous. It works slowly, so slow that in the beginning, nothing seems to happen. And this is where people give up. Now think of an ordinary person who invests just 5,000 Indian rupees every month. They don't feel anything special for 10 years. The returns are small. There's no excitement. But if that same person has patience for 30 years, those same small amounts of money can one day turn into crores. And people looking at them say, "Bro didn't do anything and became rich." But perhaps those people don't understand that long journey where the power of consistency, patience, and boring decisions is hidden. Actually, to understand compounding, you don't have to be calculative. You have to become visionary. You have to feel that magic that grows slowly but explodes exponentially. Now let's talk about another misconception. We all want to become rich. But there is a huge gap between becoming rich and staying rich, and often people fall into it. Someone once said, getting rich is all about taking risk. Staying rich is about avoiding them. Think about how many people suddenly shine in the stock market, doubling returns in 1 year. But in the very next crash, they lose everything. Why? Because they had a strategy to create wealth, but not the humility to protect it. When people build wealth, their confidence is sky high. They think they are unbeatable. But this overconfidence blinds them. They ignore the margin of safety. They consider an emergency fund useless and start taking more risks every time. But the truly rich are those who think about tomorrow too, who know that today's success is not permanent, who operate on the assumption that the world is unpredictable and that too much certainty is dangerous. Now, talking about tails you win, this concept is mind-blowing. We often think success is a straight line. But in reality, success is a messy, unpredictable pattern, where out of 100 ideas, perhaps only 5 work. And out of those 5, one idea is such that it changes life. This is the tail event, a rare moment that flips the entire game. The world's biggest inventions, the biggest companies, and the biggest wealth. Everything is built on rare decisions or rare timing. But the interesting thing is that when that tail event happens, no one knows it will become such a big explosion. This is why those who keep trying continuously, take small decisions repeatedly, and have patience, only they have a chance of hitting the jackpot of a tail event. But those who want quick results, who look for perfect planning at every step, perhaps never feel the beauty of compounding and tail events. So, if you want your financial journey to be long and successful, remember 3 things. First, don't underestimate compounding. It looks boring, but it's the most powerful. Second, building wealth and managing it require different mindsets. Taking risks is necessary, but even more important is avoiding risks. Third, you don't need to win every time. You just need to win when that one makes a big impact. Tails you win don't happen every time, but when they do, history is made. So, next time you make a financial decision, ask yourself, am I chasing short-term thrills, or am I laying the foundation for long-term wealth? Because remember, money doesn't grow fast until you give it the chance to grow slowly. And this very mindset turns an ordinary investor into a legend. Part 3. True Wealth and Freedom. We are all in a race to earn money. Someone wants a better house, someone a bigger car, someone branded clothes, and someone luxury vacations. But have you ever asked yourself, what do I actually want? Are all these things real wealth? Or are we chasing an illusion that looks very shiny, but is completely empty inside? Actually, the greatest luxury is not given by any brand or any salary. It is freedom, the freedom to make your own life decisions. Imagine a morning where you don't rush looking at the clock, but get up peacefully. Work on your own terms and make decisions without anyone's permission. This feeling is priceless, and this is true wealth. Many times we think more money means more freedom. But in reality, many people earn more yet remain trapped in high EMIs, a big lifestyle, bosses' deadlines, social pressure, and a never-ending rat race. They have money but no peace. They look successful but are tired inside. Now imagine one person roaming in an old car, but the control is in their own hands. And another person is driving a luxury car, but it's burdened with bank loans, job insecurity, and status anxiety. So who is truly rich? Now let's talk about that amusing illusion that misleads us every day, the man in the car paradox. You must have seen when someone comes in an expensive car, people say, wow, what a car. But have you ever heard anyone say, wow, what a person is driving this car? No, right? We think people will be impressed by our wealth. But the truth is that people are mostly impressed by the product, not the person. The attention we seek goes to our things, and that too for just a few seconds. Meaning, we repeatedly buy things to impress others, people who might not even notice us. And when this happens repeatedly, we unknowingly move ourselves away from the person who was once content, satisfied. Now think, you bought a big flat, a big car, took an expensive vacation, just so people would see and praise. But the real happiness you wanted, peace, security, fulfillment, perhaps got left behind somewhere. Here comes a very subtle and powerful truth. Wealth is what you don't see. We always consider those things rich that are visible: watches, gadgets, clothes, cars. But real wealth is what is hidden. Savings, investments, a debt-free life, and the choices that give you freedom. A person who looks average, doesn't wear branded clothes, doesn't look flashy, but has an emergency fund, long-term investments, zero loans, and self-respect. They are much richer than the person who is showing off everything, but is drowning in fear and dead inside. Real richness means having options. The option to quit a job when it becomes toxic. The option to take a month's break without fear. The option to say no to work that doesn't align with your values. And this freedom comes only when we rise above showmanship and focus on real financial strength. When we understand that money is not just for spending, but for creating choices. So, next time you're about to make a big expense, be sure to ask yourself one question. Am I doing this to impress someone, or am I doing it because it will give me real happiness? Because real luxury is not what you can show, but what you can feel. Inner peace, control, and the freedom to live life on your own terms. This part teaches us that earning money is not the ultimate power. Using it wisely is. Part 4. Saving and practical discipline. Earning money might be a talent, but saving it is an art. And this is the art the fewest people learn. Because in the world we live in, we're constantly taught that the more you show, the more successful you will be considered. But just think, if the money you earn doesn't last, what have you actually earned? We often think of saving as a boring task. Some even consider it a habit of the poor. Bro, we'll save when we earn a lot. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Saving is not just preparation for the future. It is a mindset, a habit that gives you the world's greatest power, control. Now imagine a person living on an average income, but with a 6-month emergency fund. Their confidence will be far greater than that millionaire who earns lakhs every month, but spends it all. Why? Because the first person can say no at any time. No to the job they don't like, no to the pressure ruining their health, and no to the offer conflicting with their values. Saving makes you free. It is your spine, invisible but holding the entire body. But this is the difficulty because saving is not glamorous. You don't get uploads. No one likes it. No photo of savings goes viral. That's why we subconsciously avoid it. Think, a person didn't go on an expensive vacation with friends and instead put money into an SP every month. For 5 years, they couldn't have fun, couldn't post flashy photos. But in the 6th year, when everyone was troubled in an emergency, that same person was calm, prepared. This is the difference between a flashy life and a fulfilling life. Now let's talk about a very powerful principle. Reasonable is better than rational. Very often, people overanalyze their financial decisions. They look at data, statistics, charts for everything, and still don't take action. On the other hand, some people take simple and practical steps that match their behavior, and they perform better in the long term. Meaning, it's not necessary that every decision of yours is mathematically perfect. What's important is that it fits you psychologically, because money runs not just on logic, but also on emotion. Take an example. Someone keeps money in an FD even though they know returns are low. But give them peace. They can sleep peacefully, don't panic, and build wealth slowly. Meanwhile, another person invests in risky stocks, overtrades, and feels restless in every downturn. So who is smarter? The one who is reasonable, who cares about their sleep, stability, and savings. Always remember, financial decision-making is not an IQ test. It's a behavior test. You have to understand yourself, your priorities, and your fears. Only then can you build a system that is sustainable, not just impressive-looking. And the most important thing, don't wait for the perfect moment to start saving, nor for a huge amount. Start small, start today. Saving is not a race. It's a silent revolution that can slowly transform your entire life. One day, that small bank balance you built with discipline will become your greatest strength. So, next time you're about to spend, ask yourself, is this expense increasing my control or decreasing it? Because earning money gives you shine, but saving money gives you power. And in the end, the truly rich are those who understand this. Part 5. Uncertainty and Risk Management. The biggest truth of both life and money is that there is no such thing as certainty in them. Everything is constantly changing. What seems right to you today may prove wrong tomorrow. And this very unpredictability shapes every financial decision we make. Now think, when an investor makes all their plans for the future, for retirement, for a child's education, all those assumptions are based on one estimate. But is life that simple? No. An illness, a job loss, a market crash can change everything. And here comes the most important mindset, accepting uncertainty. We often think we can control everything. Just get the right data, the right strategy, and the right timing. But this is the biggest illusion. The truly intelligent person is not the one who makes the most perfect plan, but the one who can recover even after the plan goes wrong. Uncertainty means you will never know what the next surprise will be like, and being prepared for that moment is the greatest smartness. Now let's talk about a highly underrated concept, room for error. This is something that is not visible but saves a lot. When we make any financial decision, we think our assumptions are accurate. But if they turn out to be wrong, having room for error means keeping a little cushion in your life. A little flexibility, a little breathing space, a little extra. Because systems that are rigid break under pressure. But systems that are adaptable, that have a little leeway for mistakes, survive. Imagine two people. Both are investing. One is putting every penny in the market. The other has kept a little cash aside for emergencies. When a market crashes, the first person panics and sells everything. The second waits calmly, maybe invests more. Why? Because they had room for error. Now another uncomfortable truth, you will change. What you're thinking today is not necessarily what you will think 10 years from now. Your priorities will change. Your needs will change. Your life will change. Yet, we define long-term goals with today's mindset. Many times people say, I want to travel the world at age 60. But it's possible that at 60, you might just want peace at home with family. Or today you are an aggressive investor, but a few years later you will prioritize safety more. And this is why flexibility in your financial plans is necessary. There should not be rigid goals, but adaptable directions. A path where you can walk with your changing versions, not against them. And finally, a bitter but powerful truth. Nothing is free. Everything has a price. If you want wealth, you have to pay the price of patience and discipline. If you want to make money quickly, you have to bear the fear of high risk. If you want security, you'll have to sacrifice returns. We always think there might be a formula where we get high returns, low risk, and instant results. But no such thing exists. This world doesn't give you anything for free. Behind every comfort is discomfort. Behind every reward is struggle. So, when you make a decision, don't think, will this be cheap? Instead, think, am I ready to pay its real price? Avoiding risk is not possible, but managing it is. Uncertainty cannot be erased, but one can be prepared for it. Plans always collide with reality, and the one who stands even after the collision is the real winner. So, don't seek perfection in your financial journey. Seek resilience. Find that strength that teaches you to get up again after falling. That mindset that says, I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I am ready for any tomorrow. This very thinking makes an ordinary investor extraordinary. Part 6. Human Behavior and Money Psychology. In the world of money, the most complex thing is human behavior. Because money is not just a game of numbers. It's a game of the mind that sees those numbers, and every human mind is different. Their background, upbringing, emotions, fears, and desires are different. This is why someone sees risk as an opportunity, while someone else retreats in fear of the same risk. Now imagine two people read the same investment strategy. One follows it and builds a big portfolio. The other, out of fear, does nothing. Is the difference between them logical? No. The difference is in mindset. The difference is in psychology. We always think we are rational, but in reality, we are emotional beings who use logic to justify our decisions. We make decisions based on our feelings, not our thoughts, and then use data to explain them. Now let's talk about a very deep concept, Yumi. This means that every person makes decisions from their own perspective. A trader who sits in the market every day cares about short-term volatility. Meanwhile, for a long-term investor, this same volatility is an opportunity. Both are right from their own perspectives, but we often start seeing others through our own lens. We think whoever doesn't think like us is wrong. This misunderstanding makes us judgmental. We look at others' spending, their savings, their investment decisions, and consider them foolish. But we forget that perhaps they come from a different world. They have gone through different fears, different experiences. Now, another very seductive concept, the seduction of pessimism. The human brain captures negativity quickly. If someone says the market is going to crash, we immediately become alert. But when someone says the future is bright, we take it lightly. Why? Because the impact of pain is more intense than pleasure. If one day you gain 10,000 Indian rupees, you are happy. But if you lose 10,000 Indian rupees the same day, the sorrow feels double. This is why negative headlines go more viral in the media. Recession is coming. Market will crash. Economy is sinking. Hearing this, our heart starts beating fast. And when we hear such things repeatedly, we start fearing the future. We postpone our goals. We run away from investment decisions and slowly start losing hope. But this pessimism is not just fear. It's a trap that takes us away from growth. The truth is that in the world, bad will always keep happening, and good will too. But in the long term, progress always happens. Yet we amplify short-term noise so much that long-term clarity becomes blurry. Now think, if someone repeatedly says everything is going to be ruined, eventually one time they will be proven right, and people will say, see, they told us earlier. But they forget that person had been wrong for years. And their predictions paralyzed who knows how many people, stopped them from taking action. Then comes the last and most dangerous phase, when you'll believe anything. When we live repeatedly in uncertainty, fear, and noise, we start believing things that are completely irrational. Any shiny promise, any overnight success plan, any shortcut to riches scheme starts seeming true to us. Why? Because our brain seeks comfort. When someone targets our insecurity and shows an easy way out, we let go of logic and are drawn towards that illusion. And this is where the series of financial mistakes begins. Wrong investments, unnecessary loans, and hollow dreams. Therefore, it is necessary to stop yourself. It is necessary to take a pause and ask yourself, am I making this decision out of fear or out of wisdom? Have I lost my reality, influenced by someone's shiny story? In the world of money, avoiding emotion is impossible. But understanding emotion and handling it, that is the real success. So remember, money is not what is in your bank account. Money is what shapes your thinking. Conclusion. So now, as you stand at the final turn of this journey, look back once. What have you learned? This book was not a financial formula or a step-by-step guide. It was a mirror that repeatedly showed you your own financial psychology. It was trying to tell you that earning or growing money is not just about calculators and charts. It is a deep reflection of your thinking, your habits, your emotions, and your decisions. We run every day to earn money. But do we ever stop for a moment to think, in which direction are we actually going? Is it not possible that we ran all our lives, and when we reached the destination, we realized we never wanted it in the first place? Actually, the biggest question is not how much you earned, but how much you understood yourself, your relationship with money, your fears, your strengths. Because when you understand yourself, money becomes your slave. Otherwise, you remain a slave in its race forever. Now let's talk about that bitter but necessary truth that most people never admit. We all make mistakes. Yes, every single person, whether a millionaire or a beginner investor. Someone invests in the wrong company. Someone panics quickly and sells shares. Someone loses loved ones in the chase for money. Someone never learns due to ego. And this is the place where the most growth happens, on the ground of mistakes. When you accept that you're not perfect, only then are you ready to learn something new. Many times we try to hide our mistakes, thinking people will judge, will laugh. But the truth is that every mistake is a story, an experience that can teach you more than any MBA degree. Now imagine a person who made many mistakes, who lost money many times, who tasted failure many times, but didn't give up. They sat down, understood, questioned themselves, and then started improving themselves. And one day, that same person was teaching others how to handle money by changing their thinking. This is evolution. This is the journey. And this is what you can do if you befriend your mistakes instead of running from them. The most beautiful part of this book is this. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't make you feel guilty. It just helps you understand that you are enough as you are. You just need a little self-awareness, a little patience, and a little curiosity. When you consider every market crash as a learning opportunity, when you get inspired by others' shine to improve yourself, and when you chase not money but freedom, then real wealth builds inside you. You may have earned a lot of money so far or lost a lot. But understand this, there is still time. Your financial journey is still ongoing, and now you are more aware, more grounded, and more prepared than before. Therefore, before making any decision now, just ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Am I making this out of fear? Does this define my identity, or does it increase my freedom? 2. Will this decision give me long-term peace or short-term excitement? Because, in the end, the real job of money is not just to buy things. Its real purpose is to give you the power to live a better, free, and balanced life. And if you move forward with this thinking, you will not only become rich, you will become wise. And that is the real victory.